Now, when it comes to our next story, like I said at the start of this episode, I was very close to taking a break this week from having an episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And that was mainly because, well, I figured there hasn't been a whole lot of animation news really worth talking about. And I mean, there were a few other things that did happen. Like, yes, I did know that there was the Spider-Man brand new day trailer that came out, but personally, I didn't have a whole lot of comments to go and discuss about in that. So I was very close to actually just skipping it all together and just save whatever I had for this one to the next episode next week. But then, on the day that I am recording this, Disney released this new trailer. And that was one that when I saw it, I was like, okay, guess I better do an episode today. I'm sure people want to hear me talk about this and look into it. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and take care of that right now. We might as well go and get this over with so we could go and discuss about it and then move on to the next thing. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the trailer for the upcoming live-action remake of Moana.
I know a
Oops, sorry.
girl from an island.
What? Is there something in my teeth?
And yes, folks, that was indeed the live-action remake of Moana, to which it shall be coming out in theaters on July 10th. Now, I know some people might be upset with me for doing this, but I'm just going to go and get some positives out of the way first, because there are some good things that I can say with the remake that we have just seen. And I will say, at best, it does look good. Or at least most of the stuff actually does look pretty decent. Especially when it comes to the setting of Motunui and especially with all the costumes and seeing the whole village coming together. Those parts, I will say, it does look very nice. Like, and especially like at the beginning, like when the trailer did start, it does, like, I will hand it to it where it doesn't look that bad. And even like the CG on Pua the pig, like that was actually, that looks pretty good. I mean, it's a CG little piglet, but I mean, hey, it does work. And not like, and especially like when you see like some of these shots and you see like the live action versions of the characters, they don't look bad. I must say, like I will say, like with the, with the cinematography, with the settings, and even like with the props, like with Moana's boat and stuff like that, so far they all look pretty good. It does look nice. So, and even like even with this scene here, like with the ocean, like the CG of it, like that's also another thing that it actually looks pretty solid. I mean, it's a case of How to Train Your Dragon, where it's basically you're adapting computer animation and bringing that onto computer animation. But I will say that most of the visuals are not bad, and I feel like they definitely have nailed it in terms of the setting, the costumes, even the look of many of the characters, and some of the CG as well. So with all that said, there's a lot of it that does look nice, and maybe this won't come out as like the absolute worst live action remake. It's not going to be on the levels of something like Robert Zemeckis' Pinocchio or How to Train Your Dragon or anything like that. So that's the most that I could say that it is positive. But while it felt like a lot of it was showing promise that, okay, maybe this could be decent. Maybe this might seem like they could do something nice with it. Everything all goes to crap when you see this. When Dwayne Johnson comes in as freaking Maui, the reason why we even have this in the first place. And I look at this and all I can think to myself is just, what the fridge are we doing, people? What is this? Is this something that people really ask? Or is this something that Dwayne Johnson asked? Because I think at this point it's safe to say that everybody has made a comment on the wig that he has to wear. And honestly, I just gotta say, we don't have to make any more comments about it, because honestly, if you saw Weird Al's post of it, he pretty much made the best joke where, to paraphrase it, he pretty much said that, he's like, even though he's putting the Weird Al biopic sequel on hold, everybody is still sending him headshots for like the audition of Weird Al, which did include this picture right here of freaking Dwayne Johnson as Maui. And I mean, okay, I get the casting of it, pretty much do that similar kind of same stunt casting that the original actor who portrayed the character is reprising their role in live action. We've seen this with The Lion King with James Earl Jones. We've seen this with How to Train Your Dragon with Gerard Butler. And now we're seeing it with Maui and Dwayne Johnson. And this, however, though, it's like, I look at this and it's just, I don't know. In my opinion, I don't think Dwayne Johnson fit the role as Maui. And it might sound weird as a comment, but it's not just with his age, but I think he's a little too fit for the part. Because the thing is with Maui is that, yes, like he is super strong, but he's also a big guy. So I feel like this is my opinion, but I feel like, honestly, they should have gone with a heavier guy if they wanted to get a live action Maui. With Dwayne Johnson, it just makes it way too distracting. Like, okay, yeah, sure, he is the original Maui, but I mean, but then again, the image of literally Dwayne Johnson as Maui, it's just way too distracting, especially like with his massively fit bod and like just the face and now wearing a prominent wig. I don't know. Like, I feel like they should have gotten someone else and should have gotten someone heavier to go and play as Maui. That's just my opinion. And another opinion that I want to go and express is that so far, I'm not a big fan of I'm not really a big fan of the girl playing as Moana. And I could totally be wrong, and I am open to the idea that maybe in the movie we will see more of her acting skills. But so far with what she has presented in the trailer, a lot of the acting just feels underwhelming. She doesn't capture that same kind of energy that we had with Ali Cravalho. And I mean, yeah, sure, it's hard, it's not easy to go from like an animated character who is as highly energetic as Moana to someone who is live action. But still, though, like when you think of Moana, again, she's just bursting with energy. She's highly dynamic. I don't really get that much with this girl here from the trailer. And again, I could be proven wrong, but so far I'm not really all that impressed with what we are seeing here. Maybe like she'll try to compensate that a little bit more with her singing, and who knows, best case scenario is that maybe we'll get a situation similar to Halle Bailey as Ariel, where yeah, her acting may not be that much, but her singing is phenomenal, and maybe we could get that here. But I don't know. Like, again, this is just my opinion, but I don't know, like even like I didn't really feel much for the new actress playing as Moana. But back to the whole trailer, just looking at this, oh boy, like after Dwayne Johnson was introduced, that's when honestly I could no longer go and take this movie seriously. It's just everything went downhill. And again, this is another typical live action remake where they're just doing the same thing with what they have done in the original. I don't think in this trailer we have seen anything that would present itself, that would completely differentiate from what we have already gotten in the animated film, except now it's in live action. So this is a very, so far with this trailer, it's showing us that it's very similar to what we have gotten with the original animated film, and it's very similar to what we got with the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake. And I know there are people out there who do love the fact that it stays very true to it, and Moana will do the same, but I'm personally not a fan of it. That's why I personally prefer something like the Lilo and Stitch remake that is able to differentiate itself and do some updated stuff compared to the original. And yeah, there are some things about it that do, you know, that they suck, like the climax of Lilo and Stitch, but at least they set, you know, at least they set themselves apart from the original to provide a new experience. This, however, I don't think we would go and get that much of it. And this is not to mention, even though I was very forgiving and I lean a little bit more positive towards the visuals where most of it looks nice, keep in mind the key word that I said is most of. That doesn't mean everything looks good. And I mean, we've already done our comments about hey, but then you get right at the end where you got another jump scare, which is right over here with the shark head gag. Now with Dwayne Johnson being a hammerhead, but my God, like I know the CG in Disney's live action remakes are terrible, but this honestly feels on par with the dwarves in the Snow White remake. Like, hold on. Yeah, this right here, it doesn't look good at all. Not really a fan of it. So yeah, that looks bad. But then there is another character that many people have talked about, and we only got a small glimpse of it. But oh boy, it's one of the most talked about parts in this trailer, and it's right over here. Just when you think, okay, like this part actually looks very nice. Like I can imagine when they're gonna sing We Know the Way, that's actually gonna be like one of the better parts of the live action remake. It looks nice, but then when you keep going, oh Lord, there he is! There he is, folks! Frickin' Tamatoa! And oh my goodness! I'm not gonna lie, I had a massive laugh when I first saw this. Oh my god! You know what it looks like? It looks like the evolved form of Sebastian from the 2023 remake. Like somehow that evolved and somehow we got this. It's like, run for your freaking life. He has become gigantic and he's gonna devour us all. But I will say, to his credit, that kind of design, it's gonna make him a lot more scary. And I can imagine like when he will sing Shiny, it's gonna be like absolutely freaky. You know, you look at him and it's like, I just love seafood. Oh my goodness. It's just, yeah, that's just one thing that honestly, like, we only had like one small glimpse of it, but still though, just looking at this, all I can think to myself is just, what the fridge are we doing, man? What the fridge is this? Why are we doing this? Like what is going on? It's like, why do we need this in our lives? Oh God, it's absolutely ridiculous. ridiculous. Oh God. I think honestly the most positive I could go is that hopefully it's going to be so bad it's actually entertaining. Because, I mean, just still by looking at this, it's giving me quite a laugh. So maybe it's going to be hilariously bad when we do watch it. At least it'll give me some form of entertainment. But anyways, with all that said, though, I will say, yes, I know that this is just a movie. You know, there are much more bigger problems in this world than the fact that we're still having these Disney live action remakes. So it's not necessarily worth putting out all of our anger and all of our rage over it. I understand. And not to mention, yes, as much as people want to deny it or ignore this fact, there are still some people out there who do enjoy watching these live action remakes. And if you're excited to go and check this out, then good on you, man. Don't let anyone stop you from your own hype to go and check this out. But in my opinion, though, it is just another live action remake. And what else can you go and say about these live action remakes? It's already at the point where it's just tiring to hear the same repetitive criticism again and again. But watching this, it's like, honestly, the big question I could only ask is just, what the fridge are we doing? Like, do we need to have this realistic CG Tamatoa? Do we really need Dwayne Johnson being Maui, putting on a wig and have all the tattoos covering him, and that we need all these close-ups to see the same animated mini Maui as before? Do we really need all of this? And in my opinion, honestly, no. So again, I know there's an audience out there who's going to enjoy this. I mean, if you like the How to Train Your Dragon remake and how it's very similar to the original, except now it's all in live action, then you're most likely going to also enjoy the Moana remake. But as for me, I mean, I know I have to go and see it for the sake of the review of it, but if I had a choice, like if it weren't for the review, nah, I just pass, because I'm just gonna stick to the original. But for those of you who are curious to go and check out the movie, then keep in mind that it shall be coming out in theaters on July 10th. And with that said, now I would like to go and pass this on to the chat wall. And I want to go and ask you all, what do you all think of the live action remake trailer of Moana? Are you guys actually positive about this? Are you excited to see what's going on? Or are you guys a little too hesitant or grossed out or really not vibing with what you have seen over here? And also, I want to go and ask you all a question, and I want you to be honest, because I'm going to ask, will you be watching... Wait. Oh. Okay. Oh, somebody already did it. Okay, never mind. Someone beat me to the punch. Okay. Apparently a poll was already asked about, will you be seeing the live action remake of Moana in theaters? And again, I want you all to be very honest with this. All right? I'm not asking you if you're going to like it or if you're going to hate it. I'm asking if you're going to plan to go and see this. Even if it means you want to go and hate watch it or whatever, be honest if you are planning to see the Moana remake in theaters. All right, so let's see what we got here now. All right. I will say the backgrounds, water, and everything looks spectacular. The water looks especially lovely. The sound effects the special effects did awesome with that. But the rest are just another live action remake. Poor Tamatoa got the DLSS 5 treatment with that update. Shafrillas ain't gonna be happy with it. Dwayne Johnson looks so goofy as live action Maui, but hey, at least it's not the Scorpion King. Overall, I'm giving this a pass. So, I'm sure a few will like it, but for me, Toy Story 5 looks more promising. And yeah, honestly, I just want to go and add a little bit of a comment that, you know, considering that considering that the Moana trailer is still fresh, there is a part of me that kind of feels bad for Shafrillas, because I'm seeing the internet just going crazy and mentioning him again and again and again about the Moana trailer and our first look at the live action Tamatoa. Like, everybody is just anticipating to see him just rage out and like basically putting out his comments to go and blast the trailer and all that kind of stuff. And again, I feel bad for him because like now everybody is just anticipating for him to really go all out in a nostalgia critic style rant, just raging over the movie. And I mean, maybe he's into it. Maybe he's still happy with doing that kind of thing, but it's still kind of sad that like we're in an age where everybody wants to move on from the whole phase of the angry reviewer. Nobody wants to be the angry reviewer. And that's kind of the secret with reviewers online, or at least the grand majority of them. They don't want to be the angry reviewer anymore. They just want to move on and talk about things that they personally enjoy. But there is still, sadly, an audience that still wants to keep that trend alive, and they still want to go and like get a reaction out of reviewers just to see them rage out over a movie and stuff like that. You know, it's kind of like in The Simpsons where like everybody is like looking at Shafrilla's direction and just say the line, James. You know, again, maybe he still enjoys doing like the angry reviewer thing, but I feel bad for the guy. Like, I don't blame him if he wants to go and like move on to talk about things that he enjoys. And I do not mean this in a bad way, but it kind of makes me thankful that I'm not Shafrilla's, because being in that kind of position right now, especially when the iconography of his image is heavily associated with a pop culture character or a specific movie like Moana and Tamatoa, but man, like honestly, if I were in Shafrilla's shoes, I would not be having a good time today. At least that's just my opinion. I don't know if James would feel like that, but still, like in that kind of position, it just doesn't feel like it would be fun. All right, so anyways, as I was saying, wow, I may be too hard on Moana 2. I guess the cinematography is okay, but it still gives me no reason to see it. The Rock's wig makes him look like Weird Al. The background looks more CG than the animated film, and Tamatoa looks like Satan's testicle. I think I owe the dwarves from the Snow White remake, or as my friends call them, the Seven Squongles, an apology. Overall, more like how far I'll know. Okay, this is not to go and defend the Moana remake, but let's go and save that judgment for now. Because honestly, I don't want to go and fully rule out that the dwarves look better than Tamatoa. I don't know if I would go that far with it, because those things are just absolute nightmares in themselves. Anyways, let's see. Dwayne Johnson with long hair isn't real, Matt. He can't hurt you. Yeah, I'm not. Really, you say that, and yet here he is. Dwayne Johnson with long hair, though. Anyways, yeah, I got nothing to say that hasn't been said already. But I think what aggravates me the most is that it looks so dull. There's barely any colors anywhere, and you think they would do it considering it's set in the tropical Pacific. Shoot, I'll go as far and defend that visually. Even Snow White looks pretty good. Honestly, this feels like an afterthought remake, so gonna be an easy skip for me. At least they kept 2D Mini Maui. Yeah, there is that too. So, like, at least we got the promise that Mini Maui and the ocean, and I'll even add Pua, they still look good. The rest of the other CG things, it's just, it's a heaping bowl of yikes right there. All right, don't have a lot of time, so I think I'll just read two more comments here. Okay. Well, looks like everyone owes Moana 2 an apology now. At least with that, it was a new story. This remake, on the other hand, it's just unnecessary. I know clearly that The Rock was the only person that asked for this remake. That wig just makes Maui look like Fabio rather than a demigod. The visuals on Hey Hey just looks bad, and Tamatoa looks like something from one of those Image Movers mocap movies. Skipping this, definitely my choice. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Like I don't know if it would be that bad, but being compared to an Image Movers mocap, it's like, ooh, you do not want to be in that kind of position, man. Eesh. All right, let's see now. Why do we need this? Why do we really need this? It just looks like an inferior version of the original movie, but with worse lighting and cinematography, and the CG looks very uncanny. So basically like the How to Train Your Dragon remake. Also, where are Maui's nipples? I'm surprised not many people are pointing this out, but where are Maui's nipples? That's a good... Hold on a sec. Do we not see... Hold on a second. Just want to... Like, okay, so here's a shot right over here, but I think, honestly, I get what you mean, but... I think it's like, it might be under it. It might be just under mini Maui, worst case scenario. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like overall, though, it's like there are some positive things towards it. But at the same time, it's just with the factor that this is another live action remake and seeing how Maui and Tamatoa are, again, the only thing that I could just ask is just, what the fridge are we doing, man? And yeah, I do agree with many that even I'll admit that Moana 2 wasn't great, but I'll definitely even take that over the live action remake, or at least with what we have seen so far. But for those of you who are still morbidly curious to go and check out the live action remake of Moana, then keep in mind that the film shall be released on July 10th in theaters.